It was 77 degrees. And right now it's like 40 something maybe, and it's kind of cold. All I have is this scarf. I didn't even wear a coat today. I was just like, let me just, bring this scarf. I always think that as long as I am covered around my neck that I'm good. So I have this turtleneck on, and then I have this scarf, and I'm like, let's have at it. But it is really cold out there. But I hope everybody had a great day. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time you are checking this in. I see that Mrs. Newton's big family, big noise is in the building. How are you doing? How's everything going? How do you feel? You're probably coming towards the end of your pregnancy. Is that right? I hope everything's going well with you. Y'all, I'm chewing some gum, so you have to excuse me when you see me chewing. I'm trying to get it so that, you don't have that shadow. Let me see. Does that help? That helps a little bit. Let me get my light. So if you're ever wondering when I am doing my live card chat and all that, or even my pre-record, this is the light that I use. Ooh. And it clips on, it can clip onto the phone, but I usually clip it onto my visor. So it has different settings. Let's see. So you could turn it on so it could be bright. It has all these different settings. And it also can be like a yellow light, but it's pretty bright, as you can see. Hold on. I'd like it to be yellow. I don't know if you can tell that it's yellow. This will probably be more helpful for that shadow. But then I don't want, oh, I turned it off. Sorry. I don't want it to be too bright. I think that's good right there. All right. I hope everybody's doing good. Mrs. Newton and big family, big noise. 3 to 8 inches of snow. You're getting snow tomorrow? Oh my goodness. I was just talking to someone. I was like, everybody's getting snow. My father called me. He was like, y'all getting snow out there? And I said, no, it's going all around us. And that's amazing to me. I would love to have some snow for sure. I really would. I think that snow, anything cold, when it's really cold, is very cleansing. It looks like I have something on my face, but I don't. I think it's the shadow from the other lights in here. All right, that'll be fine. It's actually the shadow from the light itself. Ooh, all right. But I hope everyone had a great day. And I know that it was real quiet. I don't know if people's teams haven't won or whatever for the Super Bowl, but there definitely was a lot of people wearing green today for sure. I was like, oh, okay, I know who your team was you representing. Yes. And Mosin Unique is in here. Hello to you. Do you like that fruit? I love all kind of fruit. Do you love it? I hope you do. They are very good for you. They have potassium. They're good for your heart health. And yeah, so not a problem. All right, Mrs. Newton, big family, big noise. How's your family doing? Do you have any children that are graduating this year? We are in the last semester of the school year. So I know there's a lot of seniors, a lot of people moving up from elementary to middle to high school to college, graduating from college to the workforce, or, whatever the case may be. A lot of people are moving up, moving in. So I was looking at Wellness with Frugal Mama this morning. She does really great lives in the morning. And okay. And so she does lives early in the morning, and I really enjoy them because she's working out. And every day of the week, she has a schedule and she does something different. So today she was doing light weights and, doing just different exercises. I know I'm really excited to see her live on Friday because she's going to take, how you buy machines off of the internet or in the store at Walmart or the sports store, whatever, and your intention is to, to use it and to work out. But oftentimes you don't, because you just don't for whatever reason. And Thank you for deleting the messages. Thank you. Thank you. Mrs. Newton, big family, big noise. I appreciate that. And so um Friday she's going to use some of those machines that she as well has purchased, and I'm excited to see which machine she's going to use. Is it going to be an elliptical, a treadmill, a bike, whatever, a hula hoop, a vibration plate, whatever she uses. I'm excited to see her use them, and just kind of re-innovate or rejuvenate us to use whatever we have. I think that's going to be good. But she was saying today, this morning, that wellness is not for a short time, it's for a long time. And so when you decide that you're going to work out, when you're deciding you're going to eat better, you should focus on the long-term effects, not the short-term effects. So many people will say, oh, I'm going to work out so that I can lose X amount of pounds for my reunion. My class reunion's coming up. I want to fit into this particular dress, or I'm going to see certain people and I want them to remember me, how I used to look. So I'm going to work out. Well, we have to not work out for the moment, not work out for the situation, work out for life. And it made me start to think, we are 100% responsible. Hey, Black Guns and Gardens. How are you, Black Guns and Gardens? It's good to see you. Thank you. I'm doing good. I'm doing good, Mrs. Newton. I'm doing really good. Thank you. Yes, you want to be healthy. Yes. And let me see. Mason Domingo is saying hello to you. So when you think about your life, as a baby, someone is taking care of you. Someone is making sure that you have all your needs. They're making sure you eat, that you get in proper rest, that you have clothing on, that you're dry, they're changing your diapers, you have shelter, all of those things. But as you continue to grow and mature and just becoming into who you are, you can start doing those things on your own. And of course, as a child, you learn, you get potty trained, you learn how to feed yourself, you learn how to clothe yourself. You may not be able to buy your clothes, but you are, putting your clothes on. And then eventually, as you continue to grow, you will start to buy your own clothes, you will move out, you will be self-sufficient. With all of that being said, you are responsible for yourself. And if you are an adult, and my videos are for the adults, so 18 and over, 21 and over, 55 and fine, over 50 crew. When you are an adult, it's important to care for yourself. And sometimes, some of the things that, necessities of life, you may not be able to do for yourself, because of your situation. But your overall health, your body, your mind, your physical well-being, you absolutely need to, take care of yourself. I see Joshua Gabriel is in the building. I saw you the other day in a live. It's great to see you. And Commander Alpha Turkey, how are you doing? And Wellness with Frugal Mama, I'm talking about your live from this morning, and just the ideas that it was really promoting within me, about it's important to take care of yourself. There's some people I know with that 600-pound life that was on Lifetime, I think. And, people would say, oh, there's enablers. There's people that are bringing them the bad foods that they should not eat. Well, they're eating the foods that they're bringing. So we have to stop making other people accountable for how our life is, how we're living our life. We are responsible for ourselves in so many ways, and we need to start taking account for that, because no one is making you eat that. No one is making you sit there. And as I'm saying this, because I was planning on working out in the gym in my building after work, but I got caught up in some conversations and it didn't happen. But I am going to work out when I get home for sure, do something, because I have control over that. No, I could not, time wise. I could have pulled away, but I didn't want to. Sometimes on Mondays especially, you're having those conversations that are setting you up for the week. We have a lot of projects going on, a lot of moving pieces, and sometimes you just have to make sure those things are steady. But at the same time, you have to take care of yourself in the midst of it all. That's why I know I didn't work out before I left, but I will work out before the evening's out, and I do have control over that. So don't use other people for excuse. I know women, I'm 55, over 50, and women are still blaming their children that they had 20, 30 years ago on the weight gain. And we can no longer blame our children for our weight gain when we're of a certain age, for sure. Thank you, Mrs. Newton, for welcoming everyone in. Thank you. Yes, it is. Oh, I see TWP Popcorn is in the building. What's popping with you? Everyone is speaking. This is great. I usually never come live like this in the evening, but I felt like I wanted to. Like, I'm going to say what's up to everybody. Make sure you all had a good day. Productive, making every day count for sure. Don't let people get under your skin. You can't control what other people say, do, or think, but you can absolutely control your response. Y'all, I want to read information about Kendrick Lamar's performance yesterday. I talked about it briefly this morning because I absolutely loved the themes that he had going on with Samuel L. Jackson as Uncle Sam, and just all of the imagery that he was showcasing. I love that Serena Williams came out and did the crip walk, and just the little things that you may have missed. I need to look at that performance again because there's some real symbolisms that I'm like, ooh, wait, and I really want to pay attention and be more focused. I only saw it when it was live, and I want to, review it again. But did y'all notice all of the symbolisms that he had going on? The messages, the hidden messages, the out in the open messages from it. A lot of people were saying that they had received notifications, on their social media platforms about it, and were, really going deep with it. And I was like, yo, I know what I saw, and it was deep, but the way that they're describing it is really deep, and I really want to understand more of it. And Mrs. Newton is saying she takes her breaks because I know breaks are important as well as, but I have a very active life. Yeah, I have a very active life too, and I try and take breaks in between, make sure that I'm hydrated for sure. One time, I had to go into the hospital because I wasn't hydrated and I didn't have enough potassium. So, making sure you have the right nutrients. And if you truly are eating a well-balanced diet, you don't have to take all those supplemental pills all the time, all those iron and vitamin D, vitamin C. If you're eating a well-balanced meal, it's going to be important. But it's so hard to eat a well-balanced meal if you're buying all of your things. And I know Black Guns and Garden, he raises his food and does a great job with it. And so I don't have my own garden per se right now, but I'm definitely on the verge of starting my own garden. I grew up with my parents always having a garden. I remember going to the beach, and after we would go to the beach, because we had a garden in our backyard, and then my parents always rented a plot of land somewhere in New Jersey near the beach where we used to go. And so every week when we would go, I guess that was our payoff, was that, okay, you want to have fun, but now we got to go and pick some green beans or tomatoes or whatever, they were harvesting. So I definitely understand that type of work. And now I'm just noticing that everything tastes the same. Nothing really tastes like it's supposed to. It's almost like eating air. You're just eating for sustenance, but you're not really eating for nutrition, if that makes sense. You have to eat to live, but you really have to drink water to live even that much more. But I want to make sure that I'm getting the right nutrients. And I could only imagine like being able to grow my own spinach, my own lettuce, cucumbers, peppers, onions, just the basics that I get all of the time. And I would just love to be able to go in the back and pick them up. I'm sorry, I'm chewing gum too. It makes it hard. And and Commander Alpha is saying, I didn't watch, but I've seen some reviews of it. And so what type of reviews were you getting? Because I know there's been mixed reviews, especially people are saying the people that didn't like it were probably Drake fans, but I thought it was really, really well put together. And Mrs. Newton said that person didn't know who he was. Also, I've been seeing some really mixed reviews. So I haven't seen any reviews, but I know other people have, and they were telling me, and I'm like, why? I wonder why I haven't received any reviews. I haven't seen or heard anything. And Scratch with Pam is in the building. Hello. And she's one of the newest connections that I have. And it's great to see you today. Thank you for being here. Everyone in this chat is really great. They're all really great content creators. So and Mrs. Newton is saying, yeah, and we must consider um the soil that we grow our food in. Yeah. And I would love to have more control over that. The soil, if I had to use any type of fertilizer, I would love to use more organic or natural, or if I could figure out how to do it without any, anything to it at all, I would love that. And looking at the garden channels, I have a lot of people that I'm connected with here on YouTube that have garden channels, and I really love their content, and they give great tips. So I know once I'm ready to pull the trigger and say, yes, I'm going to start my garden, all I have to do is go back to their channels and or just go back and look at some of their old, content and things of that nature. Some of their content I've created a private playlist for. So in addition to playlists that I have that are public, I also have private playlists, like, just different things that I know I find interesting, like, books to read or places to go on vacation and stuff like that. So I really like that. It is so much healthier to grow our own food, and it doesn't have to be this whole big acre of land or 5 acres of land. You don't have to have tall fruit trees to really have good gardens. I've noticed some people are growing their gardens right on their patio and have great harvests. I didn't even realize, I just learned this the other day, that if you are having challenges with ants in your garden, grits, listen, I'm not sure if they're cooked grits or I should have asked that question, because all I said was, oh, I didn't know you could use grits. And I don't know if they're cooked or if they're just straight out of the bag, just the dried grits. But apparently grits help with the ant challenge. And that's my only thing. I don't do well with a lot of bugs and whatnot. And where I live, it's a lot of copperhead snakes. So we are really fortunate because we haven't seen any around our home. But other parts of our community, people are like, yo, the copperheads ain't no joke this year. One time my daughter and I were walking in a neighborhood, and my neighborhood has benches kind of like laced throughout. So when you're walking, you can kind of sit down and chill, which is really nice. It's a good touch. And but it's on a golf course too. So I guess they just say people probably, I don't know, walk in and just get tired, or you can probably see the course from where you're sitting and, whatever. So we were walking and it was real hot and we were getting tired. And so I was like, oh, okay, there's a bench over there. Let's go sit down on that bench. And so we went to go sit down, and the benches are like on grass. So you have to kind of a little bit walk on the grass and you get to the different benches. And again, they're scattered all throughout the neighborhood. So when we sat down, we chilling, and it's in the shade. So we just kind of kicked back. And this man came from across the street from his house, and he was like, yo, like, get out. Don't sit over there. Don't sit over there. We was like, what? You don't have to tell me. Like, I could hear it, and I'm out. Like, I'm running, like, I don't even know what I'm running from. Just, high stepping it. What's going on? And so we go over to his house, and he was like, y'all don't want to sit over there. There's a whole bunch of copperheads over there. I see them all the time, like almost daily, coming, trying to get into my garage because they're looking for someplace cool. And where we were sitting, it was hot, but it was under shade. So I was like, oh, I don't even know exactly what a copperhead will do to you. Like, I know rattlesnakes and all that, but I know copperheads will bite for sure, especially the babies. They said the babies are even worse because they don't even know. They just out here. The grown-ups, if you don't bother them, they don't bother you, but the babies. So I just was on the lookout. So there's certain times of the year in my neighborhood I don't even like to walk. And that's usually between April and October because that's snake season. So there's this really good trail. I don't know, some of you may have seen my lives or my recorded videos where I've walked back in this trail, and I promise you, that trail is like walking through the bayou somewhere. It's like low country. I don't even know why I do it to myself. Every time I walk back there, I get so nervous. Like the hair on my arms start to stand up because I know it's all kind of animals back there just looking at me, just looking. And luckily, none of them have jumped out. But if you go when it rains or has rained a lot, and you go in there, it might be a day or two later, it's like swampland back there. It's crazy. It is, but it's a path. It's a walking path. It's kind of making me itch a little bit thinking about it. It's scary, low key, for sure. I try not to walk back there by myself at all, because, ooh. And loving myself is here. And look, I never see you this time of night. Well, I never am live this time of night, but I appreciate you for rocking with me in the morning. Good evening to you. Doing well. Doing well. Had a great day. Saying hi to everyone. So again, when you really understand that you are responsible for you. You are responsible for what you put in your mouth. You are responsible for how you treat yourself, how you see yourself, how you talk to yourself. What are you saying to yourself? Your inside voice. Are you being positive? Are you high energy for yourself? Not for other people, but also for yourself, because that's who you are most responsible for. If I was to ask the question, and I was going to do this, and you know how I have my shorts where I have a question. I have a lot of questions, but I was going to ask, who are you responsible for? And I'll ask it now. Who do you feel that you are responsible for? Let me know. Put it in the chat. And I can guess that, especially, Mrs. Newton, you have children, young children that I know you are highly responsible for. And I get that. But, there's people like my children are young adults. I'm not responsible for them. I'm here to guide them if they need it, but, I'm not responsible for them. I'm not responsible for their actions. My husband and I, we raised them. Hopefully, they stay on the right course. They're on the right course. They're doing phenomenal. God blessed us. 3 out of 3, y'all. I don't take that for granted at all. But they're responsible for their actions. Yeah, when I cared for my mother when she lived with ALS, I was her primary caregiver. I gave her 100% of her care, be it helping her get up in the morning. Even when she couldn't walk, I made sure her feet touched the ground every day, got her up, dressed, clean, made sure her hair was washed and well taken care of. I, administered her medicine to her. I made sure she ate. I've handled her feeding tube, her trachea, her ventilator. I was 100% responsible for all of that. Yes. So I get it. We have other things that we are responsible for. You have your own business and have employees that you have to pay. You will have that responsibility. You have tenants in your rental properties. You're responsible for the home, not the tenants. But when it comes down to it, who are you truly responsible for? And a lot of times we won't say ourselves. We will say everybody else but ourselves. And just like, if if people come to me, so if I have clients and they don't have any energy, they feel like, what, I'm at my wit's end, I'm exhausted, no one cares, no one listens, it's just all these things going on in my life and I just don't know which way to go. And it's about taking back their energy, and I do an exercise with them around that, because we are so engrossed in other people and we are not that engrossed in ourselves. A person can lose their job, but if you already had a business going on, put all that energy into your business. You don't even have to worry about getting another job unless it's something that you absolutely love. That's your passion project for sure. Taking care of you, your energy. When I ask women, especially when I do group coaching, and I ask a woman, tell me a little bit about yourself. Tell me about yourself. And oftentimes they will say, and I see Albert Miranda is in the building. Hello to you. Thanks for coming in. Hello, hello. Hey there. Um, but when I ask, especially, and I'm just, saying women, because typically when I do group coaching, it's typically all women. I would love to have some group coaching with men for sure, but um, for my business purposes, it's for whatever reason, more women are attracted to my offering. So I'll ask them, tell me a little bit about yourself. Y'all, they tell me all about their kids, their husbands, their partners, their career, the things they have going on in their life, that's kind of boggling them down. They may tell me about, if they think I really want to, because I really want to know. So if I continue to probe, like, okay, tell me something else about yourself. They may tell me about a vacation spot they just came back from, or a car they purchased, or a room that they redecorated in their house, but they're not telling me about themselves. Women in particular are so consumed with other people in their life that's right there at them, or other things in their life, and they lose themselves and forget about who they are. And so when somebody asks you to tell me a little bit about yourself, you know, there's so much about you. You're so rich. You are a wealth of knowledge, of experiences, of skills, of compassion. You know, you have some wants and needs, things that you love, things that you're seeking to do more of, how you're trying to develop yourself to be better than, to have more, do things with greater frequency that are just more fulfilling to you, attract things to you that will help you along your way in your business, in your career, in your life. That's who you are. You're not what your children are doing. Mm-mm. No, you're not. Your children do not define you. Your children are part of your brand. They're out there in the world representing your brand, which is your family. We used to tell our kids that all the time growing up. Like, when you step out here, you're representing God, you, and our family. And when I say our family, I mean our immediate family, my family, your dad's family, family's family, ancestors. You know what I'm saying? Like, you represent all of us. So go out and do your best, because that's who is out there cheering you on. It's those ancestors that aren't even here anymore that are cheering you on. But you have to know that you are not your children. You're not the house you live in. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Not at all. You're not the car you drive. You're not the project you're working on at work. No. You're not your new business. Mm-mm. Those are all part of you. Yeah. But who are you? Who are you? That's what I want to know. Thank you. Who are you? I want you to ask yourself that, who am I? Who am I really? And if you feel like you're falling short on some of the things that you would like to be, in terms of having more patience, being more compassionate, more empathetic, more understanding, more innovative, more creative, more thoughtful, more communicative. If you feel like you are short in some of those areas, those are things that you need to be working on and taking baby steps towards them. It's not going to be overnight success. It's not going to be an overnight change, and it's not going to be one and done. So if you do something better one time, that doesn't count for a change. So many people think, oh yeah, see, I'm good. I was nice to them. That one time, that don't count. Mm-mm. You have to become intentional and create new habits for those changes to really stick. If you were nice to them and you hadn't been, you have to be nice to them for at least 180 days, 6 months, for it to even consider being a habit. And It's a habit when you don't have to think about it anymore. You just, that's what you do. That's who you are. If you have to tell yourself, okay, here they come. Look, 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 here they come. Okay, I'm not gonna even say nothing. I'm gonna be nice. If you gotta tell yourself that, that's not a habit. That's not who you are. That's not what you do. And if you want to do something better, and yeah, initially you're going to have to tell yourself, okay, here they come. All right, I'm gonna say hello and be real nice to them. You're starting to develop that habit. And one day you won't have to even tell yourself that. That's just what you do. You're just real nice to them. You're just real nice to yourself. Y'all, be nice to yourself. Don't beat yourself up. Don't get so frustrated that it paralyzes you. Some people get so frustrated they can't even move forward. Y'all, they can't even move forward. They feel stuck. Stuck like Chuck. They feel stuck. You Learn with Robert is in the building. Hello. I haven't seen you in a while. I need to stop by. How are you doing? Hope you're doing well. For sure. Some people, you know, imagine a baby in a onesie with their feet in too, and they can't move, and babies cry because they uncomfortable. Babies cry because things are too tight, too small. And maybe that's your world. Maybe you are so uncomfortable because the world you're in right now, and I'm not talking about like the world, like the United States, the continent of Africa, Australia, Japan. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like the world that you live, your circle is too small. And you probably feel uncomfortable. You having growing pains. You're like, oh my goodness. Oh, when you start dreading things, it's too small. It's too small. Dare to dream. Dare to dream. Dream big. Go big or go home. You ever hear that? When you play a sport, it's like just go all out. Wild out on that court. Wild out on that field. Maybe that's what Kansas City needed to do, right? They needed to wild out. Y'all, it's low-key kind of chilly in the car right now. I don't know what the temperature is. But it's not freezing. It's just chilly. A little bit chilly. Yeah. Can't complain. Hope is all is well with you. Yeah. All is well. Listen. 2025 is going by fast, Robert, and I'm just trying to make sure every day, every punch, every stroke of the pen counts, you know? Just trying to do my best by and by. I have so many things coming up, but things that come up go by. They come up, they're here, and then they're done and they're gone. And, you know, I always like to have things that have action steps following it. And so we had a documentary last Thursday, and the director of the film was here, and the name of the documentary is called Death of Recess. Y'all, that thing right there, you can look it up on he has a website and everything. One day I hope it's going to be on Netflix, but it's definitely something that will promote conversation, and hopefully some solutions. We have to stop looking at things with one type of lens. And I should talk because I can barely see, you know what I'm saying? But we need to start looking at things with solutions in mind. If we feel like there's a system that's not working in our favor, what can we do to make sure that we are getting the information that we need, that we're getting the experience that we need, or to give to others? We can't just blame people and say, well, this is what it looks like, this is what it is, blah blah blah. Now what you gonna do about it? 9 times out of 10 they're not gonna do anything about it. So instead of looking to punch holes in everything that goes on around us, you know, and I'm including myself in that, Start looking for solutions. Be more solutions oriented. Be that catalyst of change for the things that you don't feel are supporting you, your circle, your world, your environment, your people, our people. What can you do? What can you implement? You don't always have to wait for permission. Nobody's going to tap you on the shoulder and say, here. Nobody's not going to tap you on the shoulder and say, come on. So what can you do? What are you doing? When I look at anything, I always look at A, how is it going to, how can I use this? That's A. How can I use this? You know, God brought me to it, so it must be for something. So how can I use this? Then B, how can I implement something like it in what I'm already doing? C, who do I need to collaborate with to make it happen? I don't even equate money into it. So many people, they don't even do anything unless there's money involved. Yo, we can't live like that. And I get it. You need money. Absolutely. Have multiple streams so you can do more things that are impactful to your community. I know so many people that won't do a thing until they get the money for it. And it's amazing because a lot of things out here, you don't even need money like that. You really don't, to make a difference. For sure, you do need money for a lot, but don't let that be your excuse. Nope. People, you know, they don't want to start a business because they don't have money to start the business, but they also don't have a business plan. They also don't have a business team. They also, you know, they just have this, maybe an idea, and they mad because nobody wants to do it with them. No one believes in it. Oh, they are naysayers over there. Everybody telling me what I can't do. Well, who cares what they say? That's your thing. Do your thing. Collaboration is definitely key, especially in these days, Robert, for sure. You learn with Robert. Y'all need to check him out. Especially, listen, when you have dividends, you know, when you have investments and your investments are, you have a return on your investments, that's another stream of income. So Robert talks about a lot of that on his channel. A lot of people trying to figure things out. You got a few extra dollars, you need to be investing them in something that's going to make more money. It doesn't always have to take your efforts, your willpower, your time, your energy. There's a lot of companies out there. You know, you could be an angel investor in a business. That's why I love the game Cash Flow by Robert Kiyosaki. I love that game. It's so relevant even now. I've been playing that game for over 22 years. I was pregnant with my third baby when we started playing that game. And that game was a game changer for us. It made me look at things so much different. Oh my goodness, what? And I was just so fortunate that my husband was on the same page. That's the thing. If you are in a relationship, a partnership, a marriage, and you are doing something with your partner, y'all have to have the same thought process. So if you're reading a book, they need to be reading that book too. If they don't like to read, then you need to be summarizing that book for them so that they can be on the same page, because you can't play scared. Remember, go big or go home. You cannot play scared in this game of life. You can't. You got to play smart. Playing smart is not playing scared. And playing smart is not playing small. So definitely want to prepare. Sassy is in the building. Hello. Yes. Get a channel specifically for collaboration. And there's a lot of collaboration here on YouTube as well. And yeah, community service is free. Community service is free. You never know who you might meet when you are doing your community service. People always think, You know what? I, that's why I didn't name this live, because I knew I was gonna probably go all over the place with it. Hmm. How should I put this? Let me think. Let me read and see. Community service is free for sure. TWP popcorn. What? I'm trying to tell you, y'all need to check out some of these channels. Everybody in here is about it for real. I love it. Or you just get a channel. Uh-huh. Thank you for speaking when you came in. I went live like how long ago? 40 minutes ago, Sassy. Yes, staying on the same page is so important. When especially, you have to look at your marriage, your relationships as a partnership, you know? It can't be disjointed. Um you both have to have like similar goals and values. And that's why I always say, and I don't even know, I'll be married 30 years on the 26th of this month. So I don't know how the marriage game goes, but I know when I got married, you had to go through pre-counseling, pre-marriage counseling. And we went to a few sessions, because my husband and I, we knew each other as boyfriend and girlfriend, and we needed to understand who we were going to be as husband and wife. And so that included having deep conversations about real stuff that typically young people don't want to touch, especially when you're young. Now, when you older, if you get married, now I was 25, he was 26. That's young. I'm 55 now. But when you older, you kind of know you have, more investments and children perhaps, or just more things to consider when you get married. But when you're young, and I mean, he had the money, I had a good career. Don't sleep. Look, I may not have played in the NFL, but I was no walk in the park, so don't play. But I was valuable. I still am. What? So, premarital counseling, it definitely gets you into thinking about different things, and you actually end up looking at your partner differently. And listen, if you are looking at your partner like, I don't know, ooh, don't do it. Don't do it. I don't know what people think. Oh, well, once we get married, I'll handle that. No. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. If they grew up with completely different values than you have, that's going to be a challenge. If they have goals, that's the one thing I loved about, and I still do about my husband, is how when we were younger, his goals were so tremendous. They were beyond my wildest dreams for sure, but he was so sure about it, and he reached every single one of his goals because he wrote them down, made them plain, and said it was like as if it is. That really was very attractive to me because this is someone that's not going to just sit down and let life go by. He's going to play big. And that's important. If he didn't play big, that wouldn't have been a good fit for me. I play big too, but look, I was playing even bigger because of his confidence. And that's how it is sometimes in a relationship. You help each other. I had strengths in different ways, and he had strengths in different ways, and together it was dynamic, and it's good. And it's something that we instilled into our children as well. It's crazy when you think about it. There's so many reasons to marry a particular type of person. Yeah. Yes, and you have to stay on the same page. Sometimes you might turn the page quicker. Sometimes you might have to turn a couple of pages back because you missed a piece of it. But basically, you're in the same book. You don't leave that book. And again, if they're on different pages, you can talk, communicate. Communication is important in every relationship, personally and professionally, for sure. I know you're like, Coach Sherri, what are you talking about? Y'all, I'm just talking. And I know that we all need to get our ish together and do better for ourselves first. You know, I was just talking to my team today and, just saying how there's some counselors, there's coaches, there's therapists out here that live jacked up lives. What they telling you is not how they live in. And they trying to tell you how to live your life and they not doing it. You have to have your ish together before you try to help somebody else, because in the long run, it's just not going to work. I'm a practical person, you know. I understand theory. I do. And it's important. It is. But if you have never done it practically, uh, in a practical way, it's not much you can tell me. It really isn't. I'm looking at you like this. Mm-mm. Nope. 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 There's so many people out here that's all about the theory. I remember I was taking a class during COVID. It was a graduate class, graduate level class. And it basically, when I was reading and stuff, the assignments and everything, I was like, oh, I do this. This is what I do. And I've published quite a few articles too. So I can cite my articles. You can find them. They're cited, So if I'm writing a paper, I'm citing my own stuff. Sure, I don't care. And the professor was like, Sherri, no, you have to, I'm asking about in the early 200s. I mean, the early 1900s about boom, boom. I'm like, yeah. And that theory, I'm doing it now. So what they were hoping and talking about back then, I'm doing it now. And that's what I wrote my paper on. What are you talking about? But see, that professor is like a lifelong academia person. So she hasn't been out here. Yeah, she was older. She was in her 70s and she know her stuff, the theory part, but she hasn't been part of the practical. I'm like, no, this is an A. This is an A. Oh, that's an A too. Y'all, it's all an A. I got an A in that class. I don't play. I will debate a grade. Don't play. But it's crazy that, there's so many people that's all into the theory. Oh, but what did they say? What does it say? Where did you read that? Boom, boom. I did that. I had to read it. I did it. I'm just amazed that it's written all these years ago. And I did it. Like, what? It's crazy to me. Y'all play big. Don't be afraid. Have more faith over fear. Emotion New Soul is in a building. Welcome in. Y'all, there are some great content creators that are musically inclined and they have some beautiful sounds. And I hope that one day that they'll be recognized and someone will pull them up and be like, yo, that's really good. I love it. That's smooth. Will you, join us in this session or, whatever. YouTube is a great platform for anything that you have going on. It really is. And I can't remember who was saying it, but collaborating as a content creator, there's a lot of great content creators, even in this live right now. And I really encourage you to find your tribe. That's the one thing when I was first, y'all, I've been on YouTube for 16 years, so it's not even, I'm sweet 16 up in this piece, But I always knew that you have to find your tribe so that, oh, I need to trim these bangs. You have to find your tribe of people that are good people. They don't have to have the same content as you. And I think that's where people go wrong. They just look for people that are doing videos just like they are. But guess what? There are people doing videos just like you are. And those are the type of people that you want to connect with. And as long as their information resonates with you, look, you got to take yourself out of a box. and experience life, even if it's vicariously through someone else. You know, everybody has a story, and you can learn a lot. You really can. And you can teach a lot. Your story is unique to you. No one else has been through it. Don't ever wish for someone else's life, because you just never know. I remember when we were doing our real estate development and our children were really young. That thing, I promise you, developing property where you building homes, especially when you are a young Black couple and you don't really have a lot of construction experience. You have real estate experience, but real estate and construction are two different things. The learning curve was so tremendous. I mm-mm. I think we were like 33 and 34 years old, I think. We were young. And people would say, "Oh my goodness, Sherri, that is so dope." Like, "Oh, I wish I was you." No, you don't. Your brain will blow up. Your brain will blow up. You wouldn't be able to handle this. Hell no. You would not be able to handle it. I was the director of marketing and sales as well as the CFO. So I worked closely with our financial people on our, finance books, our performa for investors, And when you're doing a development, you got to count how many nails each house is going to take to build that house. How many pieces of wood, siding, pavers, landscape, like it's so much. Oof, that thing right there. But I bet you one thing, I learned a lot, and I've gained skills that nobody could ever take away from me. That's why when I'm in meetings and I'm talking and people are like, "How you know that?" Because I always play big. I always play big. Yeah. And I wasn't playing big with my eyes closed, eyes wide open, learning everything. It might have been hard, but learning everything. Yeah. You notice sometimes people go through some really major things and they can't remember a thing from it because their eyes were closed. Their eyes were closed. You gotta keep them eyes open for sure. I remember when we were done with the development and I happened upon my closet. I was taking a phone call actually, and I went into our closet, and our closet, was a good size. And I just remember I was laying on the floor, and after the phone call, I was like, "Wow, it's real quiet in here." Hmm. Then I was like, day after day, going into the closet because it was so quiet and peaceful in there. And we always have peace in my house. My house is never chaotic, nothing like that. But for some reason, I realized how quiet and peaceful, exceptionally peaceful, our closet was. And I would lay on the floor. And then I started hearing God's voice. It was so clear. So I started talking to him and asking him, "What do you have for me?" Because I already told y'all, my husband plays big. And when I first met him, he always said what he was going to do, and he did it all. Open laundromats, get into real estate. We did all of that. But all at the same time. So when all the projects were accomplished and, we good, we flying, I was like, but what's in it for me? Because those were his big goals, his big dreams, and I'm just his partner, and I'm here for the ride for sure. I want to learn all I can. I'm gonna support him 110, 200% for sure. But at the same time, what's in it for me? And I had what's in it for me before all of that. This is after post football when he retired. And when he played, I always had my own thing. You know, having your own business, that's in my blood. I grew up in a brick and mortar that my parents owned and operated for 40 years. So even if I wanted to get like a regular career or whatever, I'm not going to call careers regular, but if I just got a career, I get a little, I have growing pains. I feel like I'm in that onesie. You know, I got to do some other things. So I didn't have a 9 to 5 traditional career when he played, but always had my own business, always. Busy, booked and busy businesses. And my oldest brother, if he's watching now, was always my support with that. You know, I always got my businesses registered and everything in New Jersey because even though we played in different places, I never knew how long we were going to be there. So I'm from New Jersey, so I need to have my businesses in a stay put place, you know? And so my brother, my oldest brother, he was always there, you know, to help and handled all the banking and the deposits and stuff because this is way before Cash App or, you know, anything like that. But I went into that closet and I said, God, what's for me? Because I had put all my stuff on the back burner. I became a mother, you know, at that point. Because once I started having my children, I put my own businesses on the back burner because I wanted to 100% be there for my children. I was fortunate to be able to be there for my children. But then when we started getting into real estate, y'all, we bought our first rental property. I remember, like I said, we played Rich Dad Poor Dad, Cash Flow, which is by part of Rich Dad Poor Dad, the book, but by Robert Kiyosaki. And we did it, we played that game with this group. And it was probably around now, actually. Y'all, it was around now. It was like I was pregnant with our youngest, and our youngest, that's our like, I call her my she's our change of life baby. Even though I was young, you know, our oldest was only 3.5 years old when our baby was born. But she was our change of life because she was our first baby born when he wasn't in the league. And and so he was able to spend a lot of time, you know, with her as a baby. He didn't have to go off to camp or anything after her birth. You know, so it was different. It was cool. I loved it every minute. But when I was pregnant with her, you know, we were part of that. It was a financial group. It was called KIP, Knowledge is Power. And it was some cool people in that group. Really dope people. All different types. But it wasn't a lot. Let me see. It was like 2, 4, 6. It was like 8 of us. Or less. Maybe 8 of us. Mm-hmm. No. So we would play cash flow together as a group and we would rotate, you know, to each other's homes. And that game is so dope. And I see TLUC is in the building. I really appreciate you for being here. Thank you. How are you doing? I hope you're doing well. So I was pregnant because I remember I was kind of big and pregnant too. I wasn't big. I only gained 20 pounds with each of my pregnancies. But my stomach was out, and I don't know. I just remember whenever we would go to someone else's house, they would always make sure I was comfortable. Like, Sherri, you good? You need something? Blah, blah, blah. And I appreciate that. I really did. So we playing cash flow. I promise you that game will have you thinking different. Ooh, that game is everything. Everything. And it was around now or a little before now. So my daughter was born in March. It probably was around now. Because I remember my husband was like, what do you wanna do? Like, what do you want for our anniversary? I said, I want to buy our first rental property. That's it. I was like, all right. So we at the time had this broker and he was dope. He got real sick though. When I was caring for my mother, he got real sick too. I hope he's all right. But at any rate, he was, I want to say, like especially when you're a professional athlete. I think once you are competitive, you always are competitive. And so my husband was like bidding on everything. One time, the most homes we had at once was 29 altogether. And so that was so wild that we had 29 at one time. We don't have 29 altogether anymore, but you know, it's a good number, but I'm just saying. So, um, we got a house, our first rental investment property. My daughter was born on March 21st. The closing was on March 28th. And we had a 1 week old, a 20-month old, and a 3.5 year old. And I remember the lawyer was like, I've never seen people this young at a closing before. Yeah. So everything was happening so fast, you know. So when we were done with the, real estate development, the laundromat was up and running, two of them. Um, I went into that closet and I was like, God, what you have for me? Like everything is good with him, but what about me? And he gave me what I needed, and it's been on and popping ever since. TWP popcorn. No, it's been on and popping ever since. You know, that was really the time when I learned to hear God's voice. We pray and everything, and we all say we have a relationship with God, but if you haven't really heard his voice, I don't know. That's when and I was in my mid 30s, like probably 34, 35, 36. I feel like I was in my 30s for a long time. I was in my 30s for a very long time. I learned some skills in my 30s that, listen, well, what I do in real life, it's not too many people. And I'm saying this because I own it. It is what it is. Not too many people in this world can do what I do. And that's a real talk. And that's because of my experiences. And I know everybody has experiences. Everybody has a testimony. Everybody's, lived a life. Everybody has had fortune. Everyone has done great things. And look, fortune and great things it doesn't always mean money. But if you don't treat your fortune, if you don't treat your great things like it is money, like it is wealth, then it's going to slip out your hand. It's not going to be worth a quarter for you. Every single thing I've ever experienced has been worth billions in my life. With a B, with a T, billions, trillions, with an M, millions, everything. Because I never took anything for granted. Never. The people I've met, the things I've done, the things I do, the people I know. It's exciting. And look, when people don't recognize it, I be like low-key laughing. Y'all don't know. Y'all don't even know. Like I'm not playing any games. I'm going big. Sometimes I feel in different situations like I'm the undercover boss, just trying to see how people treat other people. And that makes me even that much better too, because y'all, people treat people real ill. It's crazy. If you don't come someplace with your bank account open, and that's the thing, people don't know. Everything's not always in your name. Like, anyway, people need to treat everyone well. That's another lesson. I talk about lessons my parents taught me from owning and operating their own business. And one thing my father taught me, he don't give a damn what a person looks like walking into his store. You treat them like they are worth the world. You give everybody the same quality customer service. You never know. You don't know where they come from. They may have just done a massive community service, and that's why they looking like that. when they get what they gonna get, they gonna always remember how you made them feel. If you treat them like they look, you just can't go through life like that. And so many people do that. And that is so bugged out to me. I shouldn't have to say who I am, what I've done, who I know, what I've been through, whatever, for you to have respect for what I do. Because I know what I do is the dopest thing you've ever seen. Like, for real. So when, when I get that type of energy, I'm like, y'all are tripping. Y'all are tripping. You gotta treat everybody with respect, with kindness. Treat them like they are worth more than you could possibly know. Be open to collaborate with them. Listen to their ideas. Give them a seat at the table. The table's for everybody. There's enough room for everybody. Why they gotta be over there? Oh, I get it, because they don't look like a, okay. Y'all be tripping. Oh my goodness. I'm telling you, it's so wild to me. Even, I don't cut people off at the kneecaps, because I know that everyone can make a turn for the better or whatever, in life. And it's just interesting, especially some of the wives that I've known when my husband played, and how I would just, they're, what they saw as important was not important to me. Football for me was business. That's why, people, who you watching? What you gonna do? I mean, I'm good. I mean, the game is huge, so I'm gonna hear about it. Might glimpse at it or whatever, but it's business. When my husband played, I had binoculars. I didn't care if I was sitting down low, up high, in the middle. I always brought binoculars, because my binoculars were on him when he was out there playing, making sure, his pass sets were how I know he practiced them, because in addition to practicing with the team, he will come home and practice. So I'm laser focused on him, because that's why I'm there. It's business. And so many of the wives are so frivolous, in the stands, just talking about nothing. Like, are you mad? What? But we're old school now, and those same ones that used to be so frivolous, now they're looking at me, Sherri, how you doing? What you doing? What's going on? What's happening? What's that? How can I do it? What? Because they wasn't building themselves during that whole, that whole situation. And I get it. It's hard. When your husband, he's a gladiator, football players are gladiators. They are gladiators. Go and look at Spartacus and all those old Roman time movies. That's who they are. They're putting their body on the line. And unfortunately, it's for the entertainment of people. For people to scream and holler, what they call them, couch coaches or whatever, couch players, talking about what they would have done. Oh, they could have done it. Oh, I could have played. Could have. The 1% of the 1% of the 1%. My husband played 10 years, 1% of the 1%. But people always talking about what they could have done. They, So I get it. For the wives, we trying to make home comfortable. Listen, my husband never saw our house in disarray. He never saw, when we moved or whatever, he never saw our house like undone. I would move during camp. He'd come back. It looked like we've been living there for years. That's why, like, my office, all my offices, they'll be laid out, because no matter how long or short I'm someplace, it's going to be comfortable. It's going to be what I love. It's going to be, functional, all of that. And I learned that from that. No matter how long, there was 2 teams we stayed for the season, because the team moved. So it was LA, then they moved to St. Louis. So we was in LA for one season, in St. Louis for the next, and then he was a free agent. We went to New Orleans. But trust and believe, Both places was like we lived there forever. Had my crystal, everything. I don't care. But I still had my thing going on. Never lost myself. And I'm real thankful for the general manager for one of the teams when he asked me, what did I do? And I felt like that was a weird question. You just gave me a 7-figure check and you asking me, what do I do? But then when I asked another partner of a player, I said, do people ask you, what do you do? And she was like, yeah, sometimes. I go, what do you say? She said, I tell him nothing. He don't want me to do nothing, I don't do nothing. And I felt like that was the worst answer ever heard in my life. Like, what? You laugh and walk away. Right. You learn with Robert. I know you. I know. I could imagine. You chuckle. Y'all just don't know. That's funny. Okay. Just walk away. Yeah, for sure. Oh, y'all. My phone is about to die. It's like red. So I'm gonna go. I appreciate you all for being here. Please give this a thumbs up, this live. I know it was all over the place, but if you've enjoyed this conversation of anything, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. I know that a lot of my viewers, they are not subscribed. If you've been here 1, 2, 3 times and have not yet joined the team, I would love to have you as part of my team. This channel is about workforce development, career readiness, entrepreneurship, real life, real issues, and as you can see from this live, real talk. And I am going to head out. I'm going to try and put out another video for Black History Month. Our history is so rich. I hope you're gleaning some encouragement and some new opportunities perhaps from the information that I am sharing. Knowledge is power, so take care and listen. Remember, practice every day. Practice so hard that when you get into play, you will always, always play to win. It's been my pleasure chatting with you. Thanks for rocking with me. I am Coach Sherri.